you had an obstacle come up after that game that you had no clue could come your way. For you getting to play in the Super Bowl, I imagine that had to be a super emotional, gratifying, amazing dream come true moment. But losing your aunt and uncle afterwards, finding that out hours after you get off the field, can you just walk me through that moment and how tough that obstacle was for you?
Yeah, it's really tough because my auntie, Peaches, we call her Peaches, and Brian, biggest fans. I mean, they've been to every game. And I remember her calling me like, when y'all go to the Super Bowl this year, we there. I'm like, man, we ain't even play a game yet. She's like, you going? I know it. I'm like, of course. You definitely, y'all getting tickets. But to play in the Super Bowl, to be on that high, I mean, the best high you can be on is to play in the Super Bowl and that magnitude of game, to hit your very low. You know what I mean? Finding out that, getting that call about my auntie being killed, it was I didn't believe it, you know, which was weird because like I knew something had happened, but I felt it, you know what I mean? I felt it because I don't know why that night I just felt weird, and we was on a flight home, so I couldn't see all the calls that I had, but when we landed and I turned my phone on, it was just like, call after call after call after call. My mom, she don't call that much. My auntie don't call. My grandma don't even call me that much. But it was just like, you know what I mean? And I call my mom. She crying like, I think Peaches died. I'm like, what? I was just with Peaches. What are you talking about? It was like, did you see the news? And I haven't seen the news yet. But the 49ers staff and the people who work there are great, love them forever. I guess they had got the information and kind of was like, look, this happened. We think you need to go. And they got me a plane ticket to fly back home. And then that's when, you know, as I was going, I was seeing all the information. I saw the news and saw the car and stuff and realized it was my auntie. So that was tough. And to go through that again after being in the Super Bowl, it almost wiped that out. Like, you know, we took the L and then I took a bigger L that same day. So it was tough. You know what I mean? It was tough to get over and deal with my family because and no one blamed me, but I kind of was like, if I didn't go to the Super Bowl, this would have never happened. You know what I mean? So I had to really sit back and fight those demons for a long time to realize, you know, it was out of my hands and nothing I can do. But you know, I cherish my auntie every moment, and that's why I had a partnership with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, because I wanted her legacy to live on.
For you, you mentioned the joy of playing in the Super Bowl, being at this high and then this low, and I heard you mention this self-blame when it's not your fault. But in the moment when you're going through something, you know, I went through my own suicidal thoughts and went through some really tough moments, and I didn't realize that feelings are temporary, feelings aren't facts. And in that moment, you have this self-blame. How did you power through those moments and balance that? Because it can be a really dark place.
It was tough, you know. I have a really strong mother, crazy as hell.
Mine too.
Yeah. and, you know, our family is very tight knit. Like, we are very close to each other. And when I try to go on that dark place and hide and blame myself, they wouldn't let me. You know what I mean? They definitely wouldn't let me. And then and behind my camp, I got good people who work with me, like Lauren. And they found people like Mothers Against Drunk Driving that can help our family recover from something like this, some tragic incident that happened in our family. So having them behind us and they helped us through the court proceeding, the trial, and I needed that, because if it wasn't for them, I would have had to do all that when I had this self-blame on my back, and I was fighting that for a very long time. Yeah. So without all the people that I had behind me, I don't know what would have happened. But like I said, I have a strong backbone, and we all got through it together.
You mentioned the family, which can play such a big role, especially when you got mom there. And I'm curious too, Did therapy ever cross your mind? Is that something that you've tried? When you got to that moment, what like did you know about any of those resources that were there?
Yeah, I've had therapy before, not because I chose to. It was I had to through the NFL, but
Yeah.
therapy to me, it's big. It can be big for certain people, but I think I have a issue talking to someone who I don't know, if that makes sense,
I get
who
it.
have never been where I've been or
Yeah.
stepped in the same shoes I stepped in. So it's almost like when I start speaking, they get scared because they don't understand where I come from.
Yeah.
I think it's easier for me to talk to somebody, I feel like, who been in my shoes. Like I can talk to another football player very easy. I can
Yeah.
open up to him. I can open up to, a childhood friend I grew up with. I don't know. It's just to me, it's difficult for me to open up to someone like that. But
Well, this isn't me having like a shot at you. Like I'm a big fan of therapy. Therapy saved my life. But the answer I think is important for everyone to understand that listens to the show. They hear it all the time. The answer is different for everyone.
yes,
When it
indeed.
comes to mental health, you might be able to lean on family, friends, coaches, teammates. Sometimes you got to lean on, someone like a therapist if you're going through something tough or check yourself in like I did. But you got to find out what works for you. And so you mentioned Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They helped you with the court proceedings, helped you as a support system. You've done some great work with them since to honor your auntie. How has that been for you to just kind of have that outlet and that purpose when you're going through something that tough?
It was actually great for me, you know what I mean? Because it helped me open up about it. Like the hardest part was me not talking about it. And I think that's what it like builds, you start getting like
Bottling it up.
yeah, you bottling up, so it starts to build tissue, right? And it gets tough, and you can't get in there. But at the end of the day, it's going to explode at one point.
Yeah.
So being with them and them telling me, speak about it, outreach, go out there, you got to talk about it, so this doesn't happen to anyone else. You know what I mean? And I think that's what helped me so much was being able to talk about it, to communicate to other people who actually experienced the same situation. And I think that's what made it easy for me, because every time I went and spoke, I was speaking to mothers, sisters, brothers, uncles, cousins that all experienced someone being killed by a drunk driver in their family. So it almost made it easier for me to talk to them because they can relate to what I'm saying.